Daily B, 54. You got to know your strengths. You got to play to your strengths. You got to minimize your weaknesses. Hey, this is Brian from Wright 732 and fitin.com, PHITIN.com. So, I'm talking about strengths today. I'm talking about playing to your strengths. So I got a guy yesterday. We're on the mat, and so by the way, everything I do on my mat, I translate into life, because ultimately, we spend an hour of our day on the mat, and if you're not going to be a professional athlete, which is 99.9% of us, you've got to learn how to take the value of what you do in training and translate it into life, or what's the point? So if you're going to go into the weight room, or if you're going to go into a martial arts class or a combat sports program or whatever, if you're just doing it to do it, I don't really understand why you're wasting your time. If you're doing it for better health, better mentality, understanding how to translate, action into your daily lives, that's the point of it all. So boom, let's go back to what happened last night. So I got a guy, and he's just having a lot of trouble getting his hands right. So it's a kickboxing class, and the boxing portion of it, he's having some difficulties. He can't slip, he can't get his cross to work, there are things happening. So I put a pause on things, and I said to him, what do you think you do best? And he's like, well, what I want. I said, I don't care what you want. I'm like, I'm not asking you what you need to fix, man. I'm like, okay, what do you do best? Well, I'm a kicker. Okay, great. That's what I need you to do. I need you to punch like a kicker. It's like, what the hell is that? I need you to focus on the fact that kicking is your strength, and I want you to throw punches in a way that set up your kicks. So instead of ignoring your kicks and just working on your boxing because you're trying to fix your weaknesses, elevate your kicking game by punching to set up your kicks. He was like, I don't understand. I was like, well, stop thinking and let's go. So then we start working. Now all of a sudden he's thinking about throwing something after his punches, like a kick or a knee, and all of a sudden his punches are starting to make more sense. Now, you'll hear a lot of people talk about focusing on your strengths. This is a prime example where physical action in a sport like kickboxing can translate over into life. So the thing that people have trouble with is the idea of focusing on your strengths, because we're taught to focus on our weaknesses and to think about fixing them. But here's the thing. So I'm strong at A and I'm weak at B. So now I shift my focus to B and I'm trying to fix B. But A is not being nurtured. So instead of fixing my weakness, I'm actually diminishing my strength. So even if I fix my weakness, it's not my naturally strong suit. So it's only going to rise so high. But the thing that I'm good at, I'm now just like okay at, because I'm not spending enough time nurturing it and growing it. So the balance gets out of whack. But now think about it the other way. If I take my strength and I focus on my strength, appreciating my weaknesses, my strength that I'm good at can now elevate to greatness. And what I'm weak at, I might be, let's say, bad, will rise as my strength rises. That's how it is. So if we rise, we elevate everything in our status, because there's a thing about being successful. When you're successful, you just are firing on all cylinders a lot better. Your mentality's better, your spirit's better, which is like your internal energy kind of thing, not in some crazy spiritual kumbaya crap, but you know what I'm talking about. Like, you just have this internal spark that's a little bit higher. So your mind's firing, your insides are right, your physical energy is better. Everything is better when you feel successful. It's, it's like taking your day and sticking steroids into it and you're flying high. So success elevates everything in your life. So why not put yourself in a position where you can be most successful? You're not hiding from your weaknesses. You're actually accepting the fact that they're your weaknesses, and you're focusing on your strengths, because you know the benefit of being successful is going to take your weaknesses and elevate them. So all in all, you're rising on a whole. So you can't be good at everything. No matter how hard you try, you're never going to be good at everything you do. I really don't care who you are. The guys that you think are good at everything are just so good at one thing that it masks, the inefficiencies they have in other areas. And that's the whole thing. Focus on your strengths, play to your strengths. I'm not going to say don't worry about your weaknesses, but don't spend so much time that you're diminishing your strength. Now, when it translates out, I'm like, yo, man, to the same guy having trouble getting his punches, whatever. I'm like, this is a skill that translates. If you focus on your strengths, you've got your weaknesses, instead of focusing on trying to do everything, you've got to learn to do the things you're best at and bring other people in. And he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm like, you know what? You're freaking not getting it. You've got to understand that the most successful people in the world know how to delegate. They know how to bring people into projects to balance things out. Because again, the minute you accept you're not good at everything, it's this liberating, freeing thing, and it makes you look at the world differently. Because now you're looking for partners. Now you're looking for people to bring into your world, and you're looking for the right people because you truly understand this is what I'm good at, this is what I'm weak at, and this is where I need the help. And so when you know you need the help and you're not afraid to ask for it, everything kind of balances itself out. And then there's another side of this. I want you to think about something. If you take a human being and you leave them alone long enough, what happens? They tend to go crazy. Why is that? Because as human beings, we're communal animals, which means we are community-based, which means we like to interact, we like to work together. This is what we always do. If you leave people, like take a group of people, put them together in time, they're either going to fight or they're going to work together. But they are kind of working together, because if you're fighting, you need opponents. That's what makes a fight happen. But if you're building something, you're working together. So we always come together, either in violence or action, or positive action, I should say. So think about that. You're going against human nature if you think you're going to do everything by yourself. It just doesn't make any sense. You're just going to go crazy in the process. So why not focus on your strengths, bring people in, be who you are as a human being, which is a communal animal. Bring people in, develop a community around your idea, and get shit done. Don't sit around and think you're going to sit by yourself. Because again, if you sit by yourself long enough, you will go crazy. So it's all about the group. And it's all about, creating a group that's going to be working towards something, not against something. Because again, when we come together, we can fight or we can build. So do you want to fight or do you want to build? I would rather build, because building is what moves us forwards towards success. Fighting is necessary at times because you have your group and then there's another group, and then we have issues and somebody's got to win, someone's got to lose, whatever. But in terms of developing a team, you don't want to develop a team that's going to fight. You want to develop a team that's going to build. Simple as that. So that is the deal. You need to focus on your strengths. You need to, whatever you're good at, you've got to become great at, so that it'll elevate what you're bad at to at least good. And if you're great and you're good, not so bad, is it? And then you got to work together, and you've got to let go of that ego, so that you understand that delegation is not a dirty word. Delegation is not a weakness. Sharing is not a weakness. Bringing people in to get help is not a weakness. It's actually the greatest strength you've got, because the majority of people are walking around afraid of help because they don't want to be perceived as weak, when they don't realize that asking for help is the strongest thing you can do. So you can have the perception of strength, or you can actually be strong. Your call. All right, later.